Hello and welcome back. My name's Whittaker Polkinghorn, and you are right now watching episode 2 of the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Previously, I began my foray into the mountain. We fought some dastardly orcs and goblins and such, and eventually fell to the hands of some zombies. So I took it upon myself to try and get back to a point in the book that I can continue on from. If you might remember previously, I fell down a hole into a pit with a troll in it and had to use my invisibility potion. Well, this time I managed to not fall into the hole and have ended up going down a different path. Now we are here. I hope you enjoy. Tuck in, settle in with a blanket and a warm beverage. Here we go. The passage ends at a wooden door, trimmed in iron. Various inscriptions adorn the door, but none make any sense to you. You listen, but hear nothing. You might either open the door, turn to 84, or return to the junction, turn to 280. Let us open this inscribed door. Ooh, he looks spooky. The door opens into a small room, comfortably furnished with a table, several chairs, and a large bookcase, which covers one wall. Seated at the table is an old man with a long grey beard, and squatting on the old man's shoulder is a small winged beast. This creature is no more than 6 centimeters tall. It has 2 arms and legs. Its skin is a dusty grey colour. It has tiny, sharp white teeth, and its wings are folded behind its back. The old man says nothing as you walk in through the door, but he beckons you to come over and sit down at the table. He is tossing in his hand 2 small white objects. Will you sit down as he requests? Turn to 204. Leave the room and return to the junction. Turn to 280. Or draw your sword and rush forward. Turn to 377. Why would we attack him? We shall sit down. The old man does not look up from the table, but his devilish little pet eyes you suspiciously and starts chattering in a small, squeaky voice. The old man grunts and asks whether you are game for a wager. Will you accept? You may only do this if you have at least 1 gold piece. If so, turn to 130. If not, you may either leave the room, turn to 280, or attack the man. Turn to 377. Have some gold? I will wager. The old man asks for your stake. You may bet between 1 and 20 gold pieces, but no more than you possess. He tosses the white dice he has been playing with to you, and asks you to roll. Once you have decided how many gold pieces you wish to bet, each of you will roll 2 dice. If your total is higher, you win the amount of your stake from the old man. If his total is higher, you lose your stake. You may continue for as long as you have gold pieces. Choose how much gold you wish to bet. Ooh. I think we shall bet 5. Then roll against the old man. Ooh, I think I got higher. You rolled a 10 against 9. You undouble your bet gold. Very good. Why not give it one more shot, shall we? I just earned 10, so I think we shall bargain 10. Huzzah! You rolled a 9 against 5. You undouble your bet gold. Glorious. We check here. I now have 41 gold pieces. Why not? Let's bet that odd 1 gold. Ah, he rolled higher. You rolled a 10 against 11. You lose your bet gold. Ah well. Now I have a square 40 gold pieces. When you are finished, you leave through the door and return to the junction. Turn to 280. Seems fair. You arrive back at the junction, and this time take the passageway to the east. The passageway runs for several paces eastwards, then turns north. Turn to 311. The passageway ends in a door. You press your ear to it and listen, but hear nothing. Trying the handle, you find the door opens to reveal a large, square room. The room is completely bare, but the floor is covered in a mosaic of tiles. Two shapes stand out on the floor: star-shaped tiles and hand-shaped tiles. The door on the opposite wall is the only way through. Will you walk across the room to the door? Turn to 305. Walk across the room stepping only on stars? Turn to 178. Or walk across the room stepping only on hands? Turn to 108. Well, I think I shall pick the stars for this puzzle. You tiptoe precariously across the room to the door in the north wall. You open the door and proceed through. Huzzah! Turn to 162. The passageway ahead runs northwards, and you follow this until you reach another junction. Here you may either continue northwards, turn to 23, or you may turn westwards, turn to 69. I think we shall go to the north. The passageway ends in a solid doorway. You are surprised to see a leather skirt tacked along the bottom of the door. You listen, but hear nothing. Oh, goodness. Will you enter the room? Turn to 326, or return to the junction. Turn to 229. I'm not going to see anything unbecoming, am I? I suppose we shall try the door. You enter a small room with bare, rocky walls. On the far wall hangs a golden key. There appears to be no way through the room. Do you want to go for the key? If so, turn to 35. Or leave it and return to the junction. Turn to 229. Well, that just screams trap, now doesn't it? Why not? Let's go for it. As you step into the room, the door swings shut behind you. Blast. As it closes, there is a click and a hiss. From the center of the ceiling, a jet of gas begins filling the room with an acrid vapor. You breathe and cough violently. You look at the door and then the key. Will you return to the door and escape quickly, or hold your breath and dash for the key first? I think we shall try for the key. I think we need this key. Turn to 361. You snatch the key from its hook. It has the number 125 inscribed on it, but your lungs are bursting. Roll 2 dice. Ooh. Sadly, you fail the skill check. Uh-oh. You are forced to take a breath of poison gas. Your skill is reduced by 2 and your stamina by 3. Goodness gracious! You dash for the door. Turn to 136. Oh. Well. Shall eat a ration. You arrive at the door, struggle with the lock, and open the door. You burst out, closing the door behind you, and take several deep breaths. You return to the junction. I'm sure it was worth it. You arrive back at the junction, and this time turn right. Turn to 69. Some way along the passage, the corridor bends round to the north, and you follow it until you reach another junction. At this junction, you see an arrow cut into the rock, pointing to the north, and you decide to try this direction. Turn to 244. The passage runs northwards, and ahead you can hear the splashing of an underground river. The air becomes cool and fresh. You soon reach a wide opening of a riverbank, but despair as you look across to see no way through on the other side. To the east of the river flows through a cave in the rock. You may sit, rest, and eat provisions, if you wish. Turn to 143, or continue by what seems to be the only way forwards, jumping into the river and swimming downstream. Turn to 399. Now, if I remember, sitting down got us attacked by a sandworm, so I think I shall jump straight into the river. The current is strong and takes you swiftly downstream. You are washed along through a narrow opening and into a large cavern with banks on both sides. The current washes you into the south bank. You are on the south bank of an underground river facing across its black depths. There appears to be four ways of crossing. To your left, a rusted bell bears the sign, "Ferry service, 2 gold pieces, please ring." There is a small raft in front of you on the bank with a long stick resting beside it. You could punt across the river. A rickety old bridge crosses on the right. If you don't trust any of these, you may swim. How will you choose to cross the river? I think we shall call for the ferryman, as we did last time. Turn to page 3. The bell gives a dull clang, and after a few moments, you see a withered old man climb into a small rowing boat moored on the north bank. He rows slowly across to you, moors the boat, and limps towards you. He asks you for 3 gold pieces. When you protest at the price, he mumbles some flimsy excuse about inflation. He begins to get angry at your protestations. Do you pay him 3 gold pieces, turn to 272, or threaten him, turn to 127? I don't want to threaten an old man. Let's pay him. He calms down, takes the gold, and rows you across to the north bank. After mooring the boat, he ambles off down a passageway. Turn to page 7. You have arrived on the north bank of a fast-flowing river in a large underground cavern. Turn to 214. Facing northwards, the rock face is smooth and glistening with moisture. Moss of many different hues grows on the surface. There is an eerie silence, punctuated only by the splashing of the river as it flows behind you. You have 3 options. A passage runs off to the northwest. If you take this route, turn to 271. A large timber door is directly in front of you in the middle of the rock face. If you open the door, turn to 104. Another passage runs out along the river, eastwards. To follow this along the riverbank, turn to 99. I think we shall try the door. You find yourself in a short, narrow passageway with a door ahead to the north. You try this door. Turn 49. The door squeaks open on rusty hinges. Oh, right. The room is dark, and your eyes begin to adjust as you close the door behind you. You hear a shuffling in the room, but before you can react, a blow to your head knocks you senseless. Lose 2 stamina points. If you are still alive, turn to 122. Yes, this is where I died last time, to the foul zombies. Oh boy. You awaken with a throbbing head and look around. The room is about 8 meters square, with doors to the north and south. You have been dumped to the southwest corner. Standing motionless in the center of the room are 4 men. At least they appear to be men. Their skin is green-grey color. Their clothes are tattered and torn. They are all staring vacantly at the ceiling. One carries a club, one a scythe, one an axe, and one a pick. They are ignoring you completely. Around the room are various peasant-style weapons, pitchforks, axe handles, pointed sticks, etc. 1 or 2 shields and several barrels. In the northeast corner is a human corpse, with a sword in one hand and a shield in the other. You move your hand up to your head to feel for signs of blood, and you are relieved to find that you are not bleeding. But as your hand moves, the strange creatures in the center of the room turn their eyes down towards you. Do you try to talk to them? Turn to 268. Jump to your feet and charge at them with your sword? Turn to 282. Or scramble for an exit through the south door? Turn to 13. All right. Let us go into righteous combat, and this time, win. Charge. The 4 creatures shuffling towards you are mindless zombies. Their vacant eyes suggest their actions are controlled by a will which is not their own. You are still too dizzy to think properly, but you must act quickly. The first zombie reaches you and prepares to swing its club. You must fight. Oh, that 7 skill is rather scary. It's a little trick I learned. You can double click to toss the dice a little bit. Alright, go again. Huh. Ooh. Oh no. And unfortunately, my crescent shield has not saved me. That looks good. Yes. Come on, one last strike. Huzzah! I must face the zombie with the scythe. 6 skill this time. Oh no. Oh, close. A solid strike. Tech number 2. Haha! Final strike. Most righteous. Now I must face the zombie with the axe. Awesome. Go again. Haha, good rolls. And let's try to push our luck. Yes! Now I must face the zombie with the pick, and I believe this is the last one. Come on. Yes! Most righteous victory. You are triumphant. If you defeat all 4 of the mindless creatures, turn to 115. I did indeed. The poor wretches lying dead at your feet almost look happy to be relieved of the burden of life. But as you look down at them, you sense that you are not the only one who knows of their deaths. You feel lucky to have survived against these so many foes. You gain 2 luck points. Hey. Looking around the room, there are few things you could investigate. To look more closely at the weapons lying around, turn to 95. To examine the dead body in the northeast, turn to 313. Or to investigate the barrels, turn to 330. Let's try the dead body. You check over the body of the person in the corner. The poor wretch was obviously caught in the same way that you were, but his skull shattered under the club's blow. He wears a suit of leather armor, no better than your own, holds a wooden shield on one wrist, and clutches a steel-bladed sword on the other hand. In his pockets are 8 gold pieces, and around his neck is a silver crucifix. You may take any 2 of these items. You also gain 1 luck and 1 skill. Hey! I think we shall take the silver crucifix. Yes. And we already have the leather armor, so I think we shall take the sword. When you are done, turn to 221. What are these mysterious items you have collected? Which did you take? The sword or the crucifix? I took the crucifix. The crucifix is solid silver and worth 4 gold pieces. You put it in your backpack. Turn to 319. You may examine the second item you collected more closely, or continue on your quest. To examine the second item, turn to 221. We shall do that. It was the sword. The sword is enchanted and will aid you in battle. It grants you a skill bonus of +2 while equipped. Add 2 to your luck for finding this sword. You throw your old sword away. Haha. Very good. It all worked out in the end. Turn to 319. I have already examined the second item, so we shall move on. Turn to 81. A noise startles you, prompting you to leave the room quickly. You walk up to investigate the north door. Turn to 205. The door opens and you find yourself in a dark crypt of some kind. The room is very large. At one end is an altar, and various coffins are strewn about the room. There is a door behind you in the south wall, and also one in the west wall. If you want to investigate the room further, turn to 254. If the place gives you the creeps, you can leave via the west door. turn to 380. I am no coward. We shall investigate. The silence is deathly. A slow drip startles you as you creep around the coffins. The altar is ornately carved and studded with jewels. Beautifully woven drapes hang from the walls, although they are threadbare in places. There are 3 coffins in the room. A creaking noise makes you whirl around, and the light from your lantern falls on the largest coffin. It is opening. As you watch, a tall man with a white face sits upright. His eyes open and fall on you. His expression changes from one of tranquility to one of abject hate. His mouth opens, and a terrifying hiss comes from his throat. His teeth are wolf-like. He beckons you to come over. Do you approach him as he wishes? Draw your sword and prepare to fight. Reach into your bag for another means of attacking. Or run for the west door. Ooh. Goodness gracious. I would approach if he had acted a little kinder, but I think I shall draw my sword, as he is clearly some kind of beast. As you swing your sword at the creature, it reaches out and catches the blade in its hand. Your weapon is almost ineffective against the considerable strength of the creature. You realize this and panic, but you must fight on. You must fight. Oh my goodness, it's a vampire. 10 skill! Ooh. Okay, good rolls. We've got the lead. Oh goodness. I'm so glad that's a feature, because I would be very dead. Oh, I still don't think that's enough. Oh no. Oh, and my crescent shield can't save me. Ow. Come on, last strike. I think that's good. Huzzah! Yet another victory. You are triumphant. If you defeat the vampire, turn to 227. You know, I probably should have pulled out the crucifix. That probably would have worked. The body on the floor turns visibly older in front of your eyes. The face looks 50, then 90, then well over 100 years old. The skin rots and the eyes decompose as you watch. You notice a movement coming from the creature's chest. As the remnants of the vampire decays, a small black face breaks through its chest. It resembles a small black shrew, but as it frees itself and unfurls its wings, you realize it is a bat. You lunge at it, but it flaps away into the darkness. You receive 3 luck points for defeating the vampire. You search the whole chamber quickly, remember there are several other coffins there, and find 30 gold pieces. You also discover a book and a Y-shaped stick. You may take these items, but only if you leave behind one item of equipment you are already carrying. If you wish to choose an item to leave behind... Ooh, they sound important. Ooh. I feel like the lantern we can probably do without. Okay, turn to 380. Having discarded your item, you add the Y-shaped stick and book to your pack, and leave through the west door. Oh, speaking of, I think we shall nom on some food. Good, good. You're in a narrow east-west corridor. Looking westwards, you can see a crossroads ahead. You go on to the crossroads. Turn to 37. Standing at the crossroads, you may go either north, turn to 366, or west, turn to 11, or south, turn to 277. Interesting indeed. I think, good viewers, I shall leave this decision for next time. Thank you all for watching. Do feel free to leave a like or a comment. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next episode. For now, Good adventuring.